Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick butt show called Steven Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Speaking of which, tomorrow, available via patreon.com/Steven Larson. Or if you're a YouTube channel member or a Twitch sub, we're going to be shooting The Numbers Don't Lie. And that's going to be taking a look at the ninth wonder of the world, China. We had the original members of DX up for a vote for our $10 patrons, and China won out. So if you want to watch the show, or if you want to fill out the survey and let us know what you think China's numbers look like using Going in Raw math, patreon.com/Steve and Larson, or visit us here during a live show on Twitch, or click join on the YouTube, youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Tons of fun tonight with that AEW homecoming show there in Jacksonville, back at Daly's Place for the last time in probably a little while.
Well, you mean the
lots of stuff.
The AEW amphitheater?
The AEW amphitheater, as Cody Rhodes, who seemed to be on the verge of retirement tonight, Larson, after getting just absolutely annihilated by Malakai Black.
Yeah.
What a fun time that main event was, Larson. Where do you want to start for tonight?
Well, let's start with that, because that's kind of the most noteworthy thing, I feel like, is from the moment his music hit till he made his leave and then came back and hit Cody with a very small crutch. By and large, they got everything about Malakai Black perfectly at AEW. His entrance is great. His entrance attire is great. I know you're not huge on the little shorts he was wrestling in. It's a throwback to his kickboxing days. I like that. I like that he kicked Cody off the top ropes in something that was very reminiscent of WWE 2K19. And then by the time Cody managed to get back in the ring, he hit him with a black mass, put one foot on his chest to cover him. The audacity, the hubris, and then to actually pull it off with something else. And then, of course, Cody, in the end, has to make it about himself, teasing retirement. And right as he was about to take his boots off, more of a symbolic retirement, kind of like what we saw with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33 after he lost to Roman Reigns. Malakai, as I mentioned before, takes this small crutch that they put in the ring to help Cody because he had his
small-est crutch
leg worked over. Malakai hit him in the back with it, took his one boot and just held it, and that's how the show went off the air.
Yeah, and then according to our AEW insiders, Cody apparently took off the other boot. He was like, God damn, looked behind him, probably noticed that there was nobody with a tiny crutch behind him, and took off his other boot and laid that there in the ring and then left. So, yeah, either one of two things is going to happen. Either he's going to beat Malakai Black at All Out, or he might, he's a new dad. He's got probably that game show that he's got to film. He might actually take some time off. But it's funny because I posed that question to you sometime earlier this week, I think, or last week.
Yeah, something like that.
What happens? Because I think we were talking about just, a bunch of great names. I mean, seriously, AEW's been like, hey, Steve, who do you like? Andrade? We'll sign him. Who do you like? Aleister Black is your favorite guy in the last 5 years? We'll sign him. They've been making a lot of great moves. You guys, Steve, you like Adam Cole, right? All right, we can see what we can do. Apparently his contract's expired.
CM Punk, one of your favorite wrestlers. Yeah, we'll bring him in too.
Right? Daniel Bryan, a guy you think is maybe the best wrestler since Lou Thez. You like him? We'll bring him in too.
It's best, yeah.
Absolutely nuts. And the question that I posed was, well, what happens when the EVP of the company, Cody, who made a big name for himself after he was released from WWE, helped found this company, And now he sort of finds himself in a position, where some of these names coming in kind of dwarf him. He's going to end up.
It's not just that, not only that, but also he has already taken himself out of the world title picture.
Yes.
Like he can't contend for that belt. So you can always come up with some story that could put him in a title program. Well, you can't because he took himself out of that.
He took himself out of it. And it's wrestling. You could always write yourself back in. But that in AEW, like the title's not even really the thing. Like they're so good at not using titles to advance great stories. But still, what? Are you going to tell me that Cody's going to get one over Daniel Bryan, over CM Punk? He's going to get one over Malakai Black even, which might happen now after this. But there are some names coming in that Cody, if he wants to protect himself, which I kind of feel like he has wanted to, and he has effectively, he's not going to be able to face off with these guys because he's going to be losing all the time.
Yeah,
like realistically.
Yeah. Now,
so,
if they play their cards right, what they should do is Cody should take some time off, like a good 3-4 months, and in the interim, Malakai can just go on a major winning streak. Because if the idea is that Cody is going to get his win back from Malakai, you can't just do it all out because that's going to suck a lot of the momentum out of Malakai's debut.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So have Malakai have a match at All Out, just dominate, have him just go on an absolute tear, and then in 3 or 4 months, heck, wait till Revolution. Because Cody mentioned, hey, that we started Revolution 3 years ago. Wait till Revolution. I know that's 6 months from now.
Yeah,
wait till then. And at that point, Malakai will be firmly established in AEW as a huge star, a major threat. Then if Cody wants to get his win back, have a hard-fought match, it won't be as potentially damaging to Malakai as it would be if it happens a month from now.
Yeah, and you can put it on darker elevation, and it'll be fine. I mean, they kind of did that. I mean, here's the thing. We've seen it before with Brody. That was kind of the template there. No reason to think that he couldn't do the same kind of thing again.
Yeah.
Just, tell the story a little bit differently, perhaps. But yeah, I thought that was some pretty good. That was pretty interesting stuff. It's like, Cody gets absolutely destroyed, and then it's like, oh dear. He'll get destroyed, but he's not going to be quiet about it afterwards.
No.
You think
you can destroy me, Malakai Black? Well, guess what? I'll one up you by retiring.
Exactly.
I'll get the last word, and those words are "I quit."
I quit. Yeah, I'm taking my ball. He even addressed, it was kind of interesting. He, in the promo, even said maybe some infighting with EVPs. And I was like, did this dude just sign a deal with WWE?
Oh,
Is he heading out? Is he going to the competition?
He's going back to New York.
He's going back to the Federation. So yeah, we also have we do have a new #1 contender for the AEW world title, Christian Cage.
Yeah.
In an interview. And given his win over the Blade, he was established as #1 contender. Now with Hangman out of the picture, of course, looks like that's probably going to be the title match at All Out, right? Is there any chance they can get that on darker elevation
No, that'll be the title match at All Out, I think, because whoever CM Punk's going to face at All Out is going to be the main event.
You think that's going to be the case? You think so? That's going to be Darby Allin. You think Darby Allin CM Punk's going to be the main event?
I think whoever CM Punk is going to wrestle at All Out is going to be the main event.
It's going to be Darby.
It's
got to be Darby. I mean, he basically said as much last week, I think.
Oh, but Darby said he wasn't referencing CM Punk when he said best in the world.
Was he winking at the time? Was it like that meme
no,
from
but I am
WandaVision? So yeah. And then kind of, I thought it was a really fun episode, but kind of underwhelmingly, we got our fourth labor.
Well, let's just dive right into that then, because that's what kicked off the show. Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrera.
The juice.
Yeah, so MJF comes out on commentary, and the match was, especially at the beginning, a little rocky to start.
I've never seen two people be so, and I watched Hogan Warrior 2. I've never seen so many two people be on such the wrong page together.
Well, here's the thing, is Jericho and Juvi at the beginning, yeah, they weren't on the same page. Hogan and Warrior were in completely different books at Halloween Havoc.
No, it was with Warrior and Hogan. It was two guys who felt that they wanted to wrestle completely different matches.
Yes.
Where they each looked really good, and that just didn't exist. In this case, it just seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of bad timing to start things out. Like Hoovy, I think he wanted to start off with like just to establish the stipulation of Jericho has to win with a top rope move. Hoovy started off with some top rope moves, but at one point he just sort of stood there, and it's as if they were starting a conversation about, okay, what move are we going to do right now?
Yeah,
I think I want to do like a top rope bulldog. Oh, really? Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we can try that, and then it just doesn't work.
Yeah. The finish was pretty cool though. So Jericho hits Hoovy with Judas Effect. Of course, the stipulation is he has to win with a move off the top rope, and so he goes up top. And then hits a Judas Effect off the top, a leaping, twisting back elbow to get the win.
I hope the developers for the AEW console game
get that in there, yes,
are scrambling to add the top rope Judas Effect, because you're absolutely right. It saved this match. Early on, it was pretty. It actually, they sort of saved it about halfway through the match.
Yeah, they got it together about halfway through, yeah.
With the storytelling of Jericho can't win without coming off the top rope. Like he did like a double axe handle, trying to get the win with that. And then Hoovy got two with a Hoovy driver. But yeah, that top rope Judas Effect,
great.
That was unexpected and pretty damn cool.
And then after the match, Wardlow comes out and attacks Jericho from behind, hits Hoovy with an F10, and then his finisher on Jericho. And then we got an MJF promo, and he says to Jericho, hey, in case you haven't figured it out, your opponent for Labor number 3 is Wardlow, and he's going to be accompanied to the ring by someone who's going to make sure the match is called right down the middle, fair and square, MJF.
Yes, in Special Enforcer.
Yeah.
And then I guess like the fifth Labor is simply just the MJF match.
MJF,
that's the fifth Labor.
That's the fifth one, yes.
All right. So after that, I actually was interrupted myself during this Andrade interrupting Phoenix and Penta interview. I saw like the very start of it, and then I had to like leave to go to a different room stuff. So what was this all about?
So Alex says that Pac should have been there, but it's awfully convenient that his travel got canceled. Andrade steps in. He's like, hey, where's my thanks for getting you guys limos? And then Chavo starts saying, hey, when you work for Andrade, you get the limos. You get the steak and lobster. Everything's first class. What do you say? Come work for us. And Phoenix says, no, we don't work for Andrade. No, pass.
No,
they don't work for anybody. And then Penta says a bunch in Spanish. And then Alex just says, Penta says, no.
I do love that they keep insisting that they're working for Pac.
I know.
After that, we've got a Dark Order interview. They're talking about what happened last week. Hangman shows up. They're like, hey, man, you've been ghosting us. You haven't answered our phone calls or nothing. And he says, look, man, I'm sorry. I caused you guys to lose the title shot. I really like this performance this little bit from Hangman. I thought it was very genuine. He says, I brought all my problems with the Elite to you guys, and I'm tired of looking over my back and expecting you guys to be there. I need to do this solo. So I think from now we're done. Now, certain members of the group, Silver, Reynolds, the majority of them took exception to this and were like, no, we really want to be there. We're your friends. Mm-hmm. And Uno said, no, listen, we need to give the man his space. And I thought I really love that they had no problems playing up to our expectations and immediately letting us know the situation later on when Hangman was confronting the Super Elite, because the Dark Order came to try to make the save, and Uno and Grayson were like, no, he's got to be out here by himself. And then the other guy, Elite Hunter Kazarian, he got dispatched with, so it's like, no, Hangman is on his own now. So at this point, I guess he's got to go to his cave and heal up like the man with no name, perhaps.
Yeah. But also, it's back when the Young Bucks were kind of at odds with Kenny and Hangman. That's one thing they wouldn't do is just leave Page alone.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They kept needling him and irritating him and irritating him.
Right.
Just when every time Page basically asked for space, they just, hovered over him even more.
Mm-hmm, yeah. All right, let's take a quick break for a word from the sponsor of today's show, Decked. So I'm sure we've all been in a situation where you get in a friend's truck or your own, and you notice that it's an absolute mess. Just stuff everywhere, in the cab, on the floor, under the seats, and you think to yourself, it'd be great if I could tell this friend of mine something that can help them keep their stuff organized.
Well, Steve, next time you see that friend who's got all that stuff, whether it's sitting in the cab or in the truck bed, unsecured and exposed to the elements, just rattling around, completely unorganized, you can tell them about the decked drawer system. See, whether it's work tools, camping gear, or safety items, Decked helps you organize, protect, and secure all your stuff.
Yeah, each of Deck's 2 full bed-length drawers can carry up to around 200 pounds of whatever you want to be in them. And the drawers roll out around waist-high so you get easy access to all your tools and gear. Plus, they're weatherproof, protecting everything from the elements.
Decked also has a full line of storage accessories to help you stay organized. I'm talking toolboxes, tie-downs, and a bunch of other options so you can maximize both your space and your time. On top of that, the Decked drawer system is 100% made in the USA and backed by a 3-year no-hassle warranty with a second-to-none customer service team ready to answer all your questions.
So get your Decked drawer system at decked.com/raw and get free shipping. That's decked.com/raw. All right, we're going to continue on here and get another word from the sponsor of today's show, Liquid Death. So, Larson.
Yeah.
We're right in the middle of the dog days of summer, man, it is hot.
Oh, yeah.
But when I'm on the verge of heat overload, I reach for a can of Liquid Death and put my thirst down like a dog.
Yeah, this may look like a beer, but it's not. Inside this awesome-looking tall boy can is 16.9 ounces of mountain water that will brutally murder your thirst, hence the name right here on the can. And while this can does look cool, what makes it even better is that aluminum cans are infinitely recyclable, unlike plastic bottles, which mostly end up in a landfill. See, plastic bottles are a money loser for recycling centers, but aluminum cans actually make them a profit.
Also, Liquid Death donates 10% of their profits from every can sold to help bring death upon plastic pollution. So if you want to put your thirst down like a dog during these dog days of summer, go to liquiddeath.com/GIR to get a free set of cozies with your first order of any case of water.
Or grab some at your neighborhood Whole Foods or 7-Eleven. Before we get back to the show, let's get a word in from the sponsor of today's show, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also discovered that it can be extremely difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule regular weekly phone or video sessions, and they've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Anyway, so after that, we got the tag team formerly known as Everrise 2.0.
2.0.
Teaming up with Daniel Garcia to take on Darby Allin, John Moxley, Eddie Kingston. You see this match on paper, you know exactly how this match is going to go down, who's going to win this match. Nonetheless, 2.0 are wildly entertaining.
They are so entertaining. The bit I was dying when, like, the whole thing was great, but when
Matt Lee and Jeff Parker?
Okay, Matt Lee. I think Matt Lee is
the
the one who
Sting,
looks like
right?
Yeah. So he's out there on the outside. He gets sent to the outside to check on Jeff Parker, and he pushes him out of the way because he sees like Sting shows up there because he's like, hey, I'll take him on if I have to. But he just starts marking out, and he's like, are you the real Sting?
Yeah,
you're the real Sting, aren't you? Like it's a fake Sting, like it's Jeff Farmer.
Like it's Jeff Farmer, I know.
Yeah. And then
great.
just out of nowhere, Darby Allin just annihilates him with a suicide dive.
It was great. That was
Really
some good camera
moment.
work there.
Yeah.
So back in the ring, Kingston hits Parker with an enziguri. Mox gets the tag in. He just destroys everybody. Daniel Garcia at the finish leaps off the top rope right into a paradigm shift. Mox tags in Darby. he hits a coffin drop on Garcia to get the win.
You have to appreciate that 2 months ago, Everrise were lucky to get pre-shows on like their Instagram as participating in NXT,
I know.
and now they get to stand face to face with Sting. That's pretty damn cool.
It is pretty cool.
That's
All right,
pretty cool.
Steve, take this bit because I know you're a huge fan of this next segment. Team Taz,
God.
Brian Cage, kind of video package where they let Brian Cage talk a lot.
You know, dude, in ring for Brian Cage is really high. Look is really high. He just sounds like some dude when he talks, though. So this is a Brian Cage versus Team Taz promo video, but oddly they're like responding to each other like in real time in these edits. It's the weirdest thing because Brian Cage is like, I never even wanted the FTW title. Then why did you carry it for 4 months? And Starks is like, but I'll show you what a real champ is. You didn't want the title? I'm going to show you what a real champ is. It was the weirdest thing, but yeah, Cage.
Well, what they didn't show you is like in Last Dance where they'd hand Michael Jordan an iPad and have him watch an interview someone else said earlier.
Yeah.
But somehow they filmed each of these individually in some sort of weird space-time vortex or nexus.
Yeah.
So they happen simultaneously, and so they can watch and watch the interviews that had already been recorded while that interview is being recorded.
Yeah, God love Brian Cage is great. I love his moveset. He's got a great look to him. He's Wolverine, he's a big comic fan. But man, I didn't even want to be the FTW champion.
I didn't want to be in Team Taz.
I didn't want to be in Team Taz. Why were you then?
I know.
You dressed in their colors. You seemed fine being part of Team Taz.
You seem pretty into it, Brian Cage.
One of those guys who does something and it's like, why are you doing that? And then he complains about it afterwards.
Yep. Then after that, we had the Elite. They were backstage shooting some hoops. So Gallows is wearing a Ric Flair robe. Carl Anderson is wearing a Bollywood Boys shirt.
And yeah, that was awesome.
And
that
Kenny was
great.
wearing a Cookie Monster shirt. And I didn't know this, but Denise Salcedo was talking about all the Easter eggs in this segment. And I was looking through the comments on those tweets she had up, and somebody mentioned that at one point CM Punk said that CM stands for Cookie Monster.
Okay. Oh, that's hilarious.
So
I do appreciate that he was spinning the ball and they were counting to 2012.
Yeah.
When
he came out later, Carl Anderson was still spinning the ball on his finger.
It was pretty impressive.
It was pretty damn impressive. So
yeah.
anyways, Gallows talking about how the Dark Order is going to get an Impact title shot next week on Dynamite. Nick starts talking. He's wondering who else is left for them. Matt says, nobody. There's nobody left. Last week they proved that the Elite's the greatest group of champs. He says, you're going to have to bury us in these belts because we're not losing them. And Kenny says that Paige had him reeling last week, but when it came time for Hangman to hit the game-winning shot, what'd he do? Kenny threw up a shot brick.
Choked.
Missed it. And Kenny's like, now the fans get no main event for All Out. And then he tells Cutler, cut down the nets.
Yeah. And then Nick starts squawking.
Yeah, that's his thing.
Squawk! After that, we had.
Steve's favorite
wrestler. I went to the bathroom during this match. What was this? Christian Cage versus the Blade?
Yeah. No power bomb on the top turnbuckle, unfortunately. So let's go right to the finish since there's not much else to talk about.
I appreciate this though, that Bunny was all over the beginning of this match. Like one point, Christian starts to go up top, and Bunny grabs his leg. She's just grabbing it, right?
Yeah.
And then Leyla Hirsch comes down, her opponent for later on, and they fight to the back.
Yeah.
That didn't even give Blade the advantage.
No.
It's not like he was able to take advantage of Christian being completely and totally distracted by this stuff.
No.
So yeah, the finish saw Blade going to mess with the turnbuckle pad to make the ref go over there, to distract the ref to go fix the thing. Then he goes to his leather sack and he starts trying to unlock this damn thing. He finally gets his brass knucks out. He goes over, but Christian is totally like with it, and he spears him for the win.
Yep. Hall of Famer Christian, man.
I guess so. That leather sack cracked me up. I'm like, oh my God, he's bungling this big time. Is hilarious.
Yeah. The Blade's pretty hapless.
Unless he's power bombing somebody on a top.
Oh, that was amazing. That should just be a regular occurrence during his matches. So afterwards, we had Santana and Ortiz FTR video package. Santana and Ortiz say, hey, we weren't really so concerned about the outcome last week. We were going to leave FTR with scars. And they showed pictures. They showed the moment where Cash Wheeler's arm got stuck to the hook of the turnbuckle, and you see the skin pull like that.
He looked like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He looked like Flex.
That was gnarly. Flex Armstrong.
Flex Armstrong.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That sucks. That sucks.
That
and so Dax is talking about how his partner's got a hole in his arm. He was bleeding a ton out there. He didn't know what was going to happen to him. And he was like, why are we putting ourselves through this? While I'm saying that, we got to have one more match. So they're going to have another match.
Yeah, that's all the confidence points in LAX there. It's kind of how it's playing out kind of how we figured it would.
Yeah.
It should be like they should do like a street fight or something.
And they should do it. They should do it at in New York. Stretch Armstrong, not Flex Armstrong. Stretch Armstrong.
Stretch Armstrong.
Thank you.
Flex,
DZ does it here in chat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
After that, we had a Britt Baker interview, and she says, "You know, it was right here in Jacksonville where I became your women's champion." And right when it was like the first thing she said, then Red Velvet interrupts. She comes out. She says, "Okay, first of all, red is not your color." She says, "I'm here because I want a piece of DMD." And Britt says, she said, "You know what else happened here?" This should have shut this entire thing down, Larson. She says, "You know what else happened here in Jacksonville? I beat your ass in 3 minutes, so you got no case for this title." And Red Velvet responds by saying, "Yeah, I bet you feel so good because you beat me when I was enhancement talent."
Yeah.
When I was booked to lose to everybody.
Yeah. But now I'm 22-4 with 7 straight wins, and I didn't have to cheat to win any of them.
Yeah, that's a pretty good comeback right there. But saying, yeah, you bet you felt pretty good beating me when I was part of the Dark All-Stars, the AEW Dark and Elevation All-Stars.
Yep.
As Britt says, "You know what? I'm also a different wrestler now because I'm the women's champion. But you got your match. How about at AEW Rampage, the debut in Pittsburgh next Friday?" And then Red Velvet says, "Yeah, cool." And Britt offers up her hand for a handshake, and Red kicks it away. Rebel swings at her with the crutch, but she ducks. But her and Rebel get the upper hand. They sort of choke her out with the crutch.
Yeah, Britt stomps her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does.
Then we get an Andrade interview. Chavo steps in pretty early, says he's found someone that will work for Andrade, and it's Fuego. So Chavo says, "Hey, I got a special job for you, Fuego. You got to shine Andrade's shoes." And Fuego's like,
"What?
That's not part of the deal I signed up for."
Not the job description.
He's like, "I'm not doing it." And Andrade just keeps on throwing him into the garage door that's behind him repeatedly.
Chavo says, "Hey, Penta and Phoenix, you need to stop working for Pac because if you keep on working for him, you'll never be champions." I love the misunderstanding that they work for Pac. They don't work for him. They're just hang out together.
Death Triangle is a brotherhood. That's what
It's a
Excalibur
brotherhood.
keeps saying.
Stop saying.
Pay attention. All right, let's
They
talk about
work
this.
for me.
This
I don't
Hangman
know
Page
anything
interview.
about limited liability companies.
I know.
Payroll departments. You bastards.
W2, W9, what's the difference?
I feed you with fish and chips, you bastards.
So next we're supposed to have a Hangman Page interview. He's immediately interrupted by the Elite. And Page is like, "Oh, I'm glad you're all here. There's something I need to say to you. You need to say it for a while." And Kenny cuts him off and says, "All right, let's all get in the ring." They do. And then Kenny says, "I see what you're trying to do here. Trying to make some new friends, trying to find some self-worth, trying to take my title, trying to make a plea to rejoin the Elite." And Page just says, "No."
No.
And Kenny says that with all of Page's recent failures, he's a lot like the fans out here. Page is a try-hard. They thought about the Elite, thought about forgiving his sins, looking past his demons. And then when we think of what the Elite was and what they are today, Page just doesn't fit the bill. Cowboy or not, the Elite does not allow any losers into the group.
He's a loser.
They don't have failures. They don't have people who play second fiddle. So Page slaps Kenny. The Elite starts beating up Page. Good Brothers hit him with a magic killer. And then Kenny tells the Young Bucks, "Get him up! Get him up!
Get him up!"
And that's when the Dark Order run out. And then Stu and Uno get in front of him. It's like, "Nope, this is Hangman's business. Get out of here." And so they do. And so the Young Bucks hit Page with a BTE trigger. And Kenny's yelling at him, "Do it again!" And they do it again and again. He says, "Don't stop." Eventually they do. Kazarian runs out to make the save, but he's pretty much instantly overwhelmed by the Elite, thrown out of the ring. Kenny says, "Now I'm pissed. I'm feeling sentimental. I'm going to give you, Hangman, a good look at something you'll never have." And then bashes Page right in the face with the AEW title.
Yeah. And then they kick in. It was kind of funny. They kicked in the Being the Elite theme song as opposed to any of their other. After that, we had a quick video promo from Dan Lambert, who talks about his experience getting hit with that blackout by Lance Archer. And he says, I'm coming back next week with backup. So instantly, Larson, speculation, who is his backup?
Daniel Bryan.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be something
I think
else.
his backup is going to be Adam Scher.
Could be. Could
Share
be.
some pain with you.
There we go.
That's his name.
I'm in the mood to share.
They respell his last name S-H-A-R.
There you go.
I'm going to overshare with you.
That should be his thing. So next we got
TMI.
Miro defending the TNT title against Lee Johnson. Miro dominated for the most part, but Johnson got a good amount of offense in towards the middle match. It was a pretty strong effort from Lee Johnson. In the end, though, Miro hits a Machka kick, locks on, game over for the win. And I love Miro afterwards. So after the ref tells him to release the hold, he kind of gives Lee Johnson like a little hug.
He cuddles him.
A little bit. And then
says, I forgive you.
Yeah, whispers in his ear, I forgive you.
That's messed up.
Gosh darn it, Miro's so good.
That dude is jacked up in the head, man. I love it.
It's so fascinating. He's such a fascinating character.
I know. He loves sex and God. It's awesome. He married well. He's known for marrying well. Holy shit, what is that? After that, we had another peeper. I had the most active bladder tonight.
Apparently,
two times.
Whenever Christian Cage showed up on your screen, you're just like, man, I gotta micturate urgently.
This was such a cringy interview right
so
here.
He
singing the Golden Girls theme song.
Let me take care of it because I like the Golden
Larson
Girls theme, and I like
on me, so he's probably talking on his end. So we're gonna have to restart this right here.
It's all good. It's all good.
Thank you for being a friend.
Well, don't sing too much of it. We don't want to get the copyright. There we go. Okay, so Christian says, I'm number one contender. Feeling pretty damn good about it. And he starts and then he's asked, Leyla Hirsch helped you during your match. Are you going to help her go out with her during her match? And then she says, well, no, it's fine. Thank you for being a friend. And he starts singing the Golden Girls theme, which is a great theme song. And he said, no, not really. She said, thanks. But she already has friends. She has best friends.
Ooh.
And and he goes on. He says from the start, I didn't come to AEW to slap my chest and look for my peeps. I came here to get what was taken away from me 7 years ago to cement my legacy and to win championships. Says, I'll be in Pittsburgh next week, and I'll be looking to stir up some shit. He's like, I feel like I'm pretty good at stirring up some shit. In fact, you could say that I'm elite.
Elite. So is he joining the Super Elite? Is that what's happening here?
Maybe.
He's like, I don't want a title shot. I want to join your cool club. They're like, what? That's not.
I want to sell lots of merch.
I want to be in Hot Topic. They're like, this isn't 2018.
Leyla Hirsch. This is just the elite.
It's just the elite. We have a much lamer logo. Leyla Hirsch versus the Bunny was next. The best friends were out there having Layla's back at ringside.
Yeah.
The finish kind of, so there was a bit where Leyla goes up for a moonsault. It's funny because the camera didn't really see Bunny move. It just kind of looked like Layla just missed this by a mile.
It did look like that.
And so Bunny took advantage of that with a DVD, got two with that, but in the end, Layla tapped out Bunny with it was like an armbar, right?
Yeah, and it was pretty cool because the Hirsch had the Bunny in like a cross arm breaker attempt, and she kind of this thing where she rolled over, and by rolling over, she broke the Bunny's grip trying to block the cross arm breaker and locked it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, she's really good. And so afterwards, Camille, the NWA Women's Champion, was sitting ringside. So after Leyla Hirsch wins, she waves Camille into the ring, and Camille comes in. And I think they said Leyla Hirsch was like 4'10" or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and Camille is tall.
Yeah. Like the top of Layla's head basically just reaches like mid chest for Camille.
Yeah.
She is tall, and I'm sure 12 months from now, whenever her contract is done with NWA, she will have that sign that says Camille is all elite because she's a good wrestler. Mm-hmm. She is intimidating. She is an intimidating presence.
Her presence is great.
Like, tell me her versus Jade Cargill wouldn't be absolutely great.
That's money.
Assuming Jade actually wrestles at some point.
That is a money feud. Yeah, well, the segue to that, because that was the next segment.
So, yeah, it's another Jade Cargill promo, and they sort of kayfabe why she hasn't been wrestling. They've been busy building her brand, diversifying her income streams, her revenue streams, pushing the hashtag. I'm thinking to myself, this guy's fucking worst manager. Like, she's a wrestler. She should be wrestling. Where is she? It's just all these damn interviews at various parts of venues. But she does have a return match coming up on Elevation coming up pretty soon. It wouldn't surprise me, given that Red Velvet is the match at Rampage, if they did Jade Cargill versus Britt Baker at I don't know if they're gonna have to, if like Jade is gonna need a better record before they do that. What do you think?
I don't know if they're gonna have Jade contend for the title unless she's gonna win it. And Britt's not losing that title anytime soon.
I don't know. I thought that as well, but wouldn't they be doing a lot more with Jade if that was the case?
I kind of feel like the match at All Out is going to be Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, and so Britt can get her win back. Although we're only like a month away, so they got to start setting that up.
I kind of figured that Thunder Rosa was going to be the one to confront her tonight, but I guess they want to do the Rampage thing first, and then maybe Thunder Rosa will show up at Rampage and set that up.
Could be
right about that.
Get the tables rated. Party at 29. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Sorry I didn't notice it till now. So they announced next week for Dynamite, Jericho versus Wardlow in the fourth labor. Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander. That was set up during the Bunny and Leyla Hirsch match, I believe.
Yeah.
And then also Good Brothers defending the Impact Tag titles against Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. And
where's that one coming from? Where did we know that Dynamite?
Was it Houston?
Put you on the spot. Is it? Okay.
No, it's Pittsburgh.
Okay, cool.
Pittsburgh. Next week's Pittsburgh.
Oh, so Rampage and
Dynamite and
both.
Rampage are both in Pittsburgh next week.
Cool. Right on.
And then we got our main event, Malakai Black versus Cody Rhodes. Early on, Malakai is focusing on Cody's leg. There's a great bit where he's locking on a single leg crab, and Cody struggles and gets the ropes. Malakai waits till like 4.5 before he releases it. Smart wrestling.
Smart.
So then
let's talk about. Hold on a second. Let's talk about his entrance a little bit.
Oh man, it was magnificent.
It was that mask. He was wearing like a cool skull goth mask.
And he had like a mask covered up the bottom part of his face too.
Yeah, the only thing that bugged me about it was when they cut the lights, because all they did was just cut the picture. So it was just like when you cut the lights, you can still kind of like see like maybe some flashes if people still do that with their cameras.
People got their phones out and stuff.
But they like literally just cut the picture, so it went to like pure black, and I was like, is there something wrong with the feed right now? And so they mentioned, commentary said, oh, the lights go out to sort of, kayfabe it or whatever. But like that was the only part of it I was like, oh, I don't like that. I like to see everything that's going on.
They'll work all that.
But I wonder if he's just like sort of, he's like, I've got this giant mask on my face and the lights are dark. So he's like stumbling to get his way to the ring or something. I don't know.
To hit his marks. I don't know. But it was great. The song was great. Everything was great about it.
Cody came out with his typical Homelander gear.
Yeah. So Malakai is working Cody's leg. Cody's looking for a crossroads. Malakai knees out of that. Cody goes up top, and Malakai kicks him off the top rope, and Cody soars through the air through the timekeeper's table. Ringside, he barely beats the 10 count, and when he gets in the ring and stumbles back on his feet, Malakai hits him with a black mass. Takes his time getting over there. Puts a single foot on top of Cody's chest, gets the 3 count for the win.
He saunters away, and so Tony goes over, he gets the mic, he's like, oh, this is an EVP. We gotta interview this guy, regardless of the fact that he just got humiliated.
Yeah.
So he goes in there, and he's like, hey, Cody, here's a crutch for you. And it's like something you get out of one of the little quarter machines. Yeah, this is like the tiniest crutch you ever seen.
It was like 3.5 feet long.
He's like,
it was so small.
Thanks, Tony. This is fucking useless, though. He puts it in the corner. He wants to stand up. He's like, thanks, Tony. I got this. And so Cody starts out, and immediately I just groan because he says, legacy is a funny thing. And it's like, oh, God, really? This is going to be one of those weird America Yay promos that he did. So he starts, and then he says, I got into wrestling at 15. It's like, oh, we're going to be here a while, people. Do they book an overrun for this?
I know.
It's like, he was like, I was a referee, and all I wanted to do was win the title they took from my daddy in the garden. Goals change. Time flies. I've had so much fun here. And he starts basically acting like he's about to quit, like he's about to retire. He says, there may have been some infighting amongst EVPs. We're definitely the competition here. We set the table for others to eat. He starts sort of being a bit metaphorical with what they've done there with AEW. He says, and I say this with no bitterness. And he's like, I love every single one of you. He takes off one boot. And JR's like, oh, well, that's typically what you do when you're going to retire. And then And then Malakai Black shuts him the fuck up with a crutch shot. It was amazing. He just blasted him in the back with a crutch. Cody goes
shoe.
down.
Yeah, he picks up Cody's shoe.
Picks up his shoe. He laughs, and then he saunters away with the shoe.
Good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was great. Somebody in our chat, I forget who it was, and I apologize, said, "Man, it'd be great if he wore that shoe."
Heck yeah!
From now on, it'd look goofy as hell, but it'd be pretty rad if he did that.
It would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyone answer a couple questions? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a sub here from Chronic Frost. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that.
And one from Bottom Class as well.
Cool. That's so nice of you. Let's see here. Anthony R. In the eventual rematch, how many black masses does Cody kick out of?
No, he's not going to kick out of a black mass.
I wouldn't put all the confidence points on that,
he's not.
Man.
They're not going to bury. If Cody's going to win, he's not going to bury Malakai's finish.
What did Cody, do you recall, in the return match, and what was like a bull rope match that he had where it was a straight, there was a bull rope match with Brody. Did he kick out of the powerbomb? Or the discus, what did he used to have the discus close on?
Yeah, discus close on, I don't remember.
All right.
Don't recall.
Well, somebody needs to watch that mask. If he kicked out of any of that stuff, Moses Opposes says, who will be the first person who have spent time in WWE to win the AEW Women's title? I mean, the only possibility right now is Ruby Soho, right?
Think so.
Ain't going to be Brandy.
Hugh Longheavy, Cody has to return for the first Rampage. How else could they possibly get good ratings and make a good show? Cody is the essential piece of AEW. They'd be nothing at all without him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like, you know, you can bring CM Punk back, but, you know, they're not going to do over 500,000 unless Cody's there.
Oh, yeah. Bloom T17 with sub, thank you. Then E-Dub says, I must be buzzed because Mothman keeps appearing on my screen. Is he the third man, brother? He just likes to say hello from time to time if you're watching on the Twitch stream here.
Pop Punk Bob Ross says, assuming Bray Wyatt joins AEW, would you like to see him feud with Malakai Black? And if so, what would your dream match? What would be your dream match type? Man, 100,000%. I would love to see that. I think you put those two guys in a room and say book out 3 months.
Don't make any references to putting Malakai Black in a room, please.
I'm sorry. I meant backstage, not seen by cameras.
Okay, good.
A meeting of the minds. They do it at a Chili's or an Applebee's or like a Wawa maybe outside. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just saying get them together, text message, email thread, in their own Discord.
Meet up at a park.
Meet up at a park somewhere and have them talk and just have them book out 3 months. And I don't care what the match type is. You could do a couple cinematics, in-ring stuff, do it all. I would love that. I would love it.
Mr. Forbesy says, if Hangman does leave the Dark Order, does that leave room for Bray to come in and take over? I mean, I think Bray would probably have a 90-day no-compete. So that would be November. That'd be full gear time before he could show up.
I kind of want, by the time all this stuff. Wait, I'm sorry. What was the question? Should Bray Wyatt
take over the Dark Order?
No, I don't think that should happen. I want him to start his own stable. And here's what I'd love to see happen, just to settle this for once and for all. Hangman leaves the Dark Order, but he tells them you don't need another leader. Something maybe like Brody would be proud of how you guys comport yourselves. You know, you can lead yourselves. Mm-hmm. They don't need another leader. Mm-hmm. They don't. They have established that they have strength in numbers because they are emotionally there for each other. Mm-hmm. You don't need a leader if that's what you are. Yep. You know, it doesn't need to be Silver or Uno. They all have their roles. Uno's like their spokes guy. Mm-hmm. They all have their roles. I don't want to see them have a leader. I know it's funny because it's been one of the popular things with like, oh, who's going to, ever since before Brody, you know, when the Exalted One was mentioned, is who's going to be the leader. Then it was Brody and then he passed. And then it's like, oh, who's going to be the new leader? I don't want that. I don't think it needs it.
Doesn't seem to be like it's necessary. Yeah. To have a new leader. Agreed. Mm-hmm. Sammy Sosas with the sub. Thank you.
Let's see here. David Matushek, what would happen if the country shuts down again prior to All Out? would CM Punk debut then or not? So CM Punk we think is going to debut at that second Rampage in Chicago. If they shut it down, man, I don't know. I find it difficult to believe that they would debut CM Punk at an empty Daly's place. I find that difficult to believe. So I would think they would hold off on him. I do.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Church says Lambert is bringing America Top Team. But
how great would it be?
Members?
And I know there's the no compete clause. I know that. How great would it be if he brought in Bray Wyatt as sort of a version of his Muscle Man dance character?
That'd be great.
So I've been training the top team, man. Muscle Man dance.
Muscle Man dance.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be great. Dr. Lipkin says the Forbidden Door opens even further and AEW crosses over with the Muppets. Make a 5-match card of the Muppets versus AEW. Who wins?
Not
who faces
doing
who
a
goes
5-match card. We'll do what's the main event?
Who's
what's
the Animal
main
Face?
Event?
Who's the madman of... give me Animal versus Mox.
That's good.
Exploding rope death match.
That is perfect. Britt Baker versus Miss Piggy. That's good. Who would Kermit the Frog face? Jungle Boy. Oh!
Yeah, there you go. That's not bad. It's not a bad Kermit.
Thank you.
You can have Fozzie Bear in a handicap match against Bear Country.
We'll add Kermit to the Going in Raw hotline.
There we go.
And then it'll be interrupted by Brett.
Gosh, enough.
That's my new favorite gimmick, by the way.
Enough with Brett.
That's what I say. I say enough of Brett too, man. But man, he keeps on interrupting. Let's see here. This is great. Arm Farms says Tony Khan hires David Lynch to take over booking. Who are his champions and how do they get there? Fuego has a fever dream where everybody in AEW except for him melts. And then he wakes up and he's got the championship under his pillow.
Oh wow.
And that's how he wins it.
Dangam Q says Dan Lambert is a manager in MLW. He manages Team Filthy. Course,
shit! Is Tom Lawler going to show up in AEW?
That'd be pretty cool.
Whoa! Who said that? Who gave us that info?
Dang MQ.
Thank you, Dang MQ. We should reach out to MLW. Say, hey, can we watch old fusions?
That'd be cool.
That'd be kind of cool. MLW is kind of cool, man. We'll find out all about Contra.
Mm-hmm. With Jacob Fatu, who's great.
Jacob Fatu. Oh, wow. Holy shit. Do they even do stuff on YouTube anymore? Do they have something like Vice or something, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Jorge D wants to know who the top Poindexter in wrestling is currently. Is it Christian or Chris Sabin? Also, which classic
Chris Sabin.
Is Chris Sabin. Also, which classic sitcom theme will Christian ruin next? He'll try to do an a cappella version of the Seinfeld theme.
I was gonna say, didn't Empty Nest have words to it? It's not really iconic, is it?
No.
Oh, it's the Greatest American Hero because he is the greatest American wrestler. Wait, is he wrestling? He's not American, is he?
From Canada.
He's from Canada, right?
It's Canadian, yes.
I'm from Canada too, Brett.
Gosh darn it.
I'm from there too. I have another rumor about Linda McMahon. Okay, no, that's it. You're not doing it on the show, right. Brett. You're not doing it on the show. We're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Listen, Twitch chat, stick around. We'll hang out a little bit longer. But we can't afford Bret Hart with his rumors here on the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.